I still have so many ideas for things that I want to make with businesses and hobbies, and today we're going to test out trying to build a functional vineyard business. The idea here is to use a lot of the nectar making stuff from Horse Ranch, and I want to build a place where your Sims can come and buy nectar, they can do nectar tastings, and they can also take nectar making classes. I actually think this is kind of a realistic business concept, especially considering how many ridiculous, wacky businesses I have made so far with this pack. This one at least makes sense. And we're going to build it over here in Chestnut Ridge because this lot was literally designed to be a vineyard. It's called Grapevine Terrace, and look at the environment around it with like these rows of grapes and like the terrace levels going up to it. This is one of my favorite lots in the game, and it literally could not be more perfect for this plan. But let's just jump into this and I'll walk you through what I've built. And now, once again, I'm gonna have to ask you to trust the process because I've got an idea. It just takes me a second for it to kind of come together and make sense. I sort of wanted to make like a U-shaped building and then have a bunch of those grapevines out in front of it. The grapevines end up taking up a lot of the space and it's not really that big of a lot, so it was kind of a big sacrifice. But once I put them in, you'll see it was worth it. And then most of the building actually ends up being in the basement. So you might have seen like that hole in the ground just there. That's because I wanted to have some actual natural light going into the basement. So it's kind of like a sunken courtyard almost down there, and then we can get windows around it. So on our little to-do list for this build, I want to have a store, like an actual retail section, because if your Sim is running this business, you're probably going to want to make and sell nectar. So I wanted a place to do that. We're going to put that kind of on the right side of the building. Then I wanted to have like a bar space, almost like a tasting room. We'll do that on the left side of the building. And that way this lot could function just as a bar. If you didn't want to have to do all of the nectar making or anything, you could just use it as like a wine bar. I also wanted to have an apartment for the family who owns the business, so the entire upstairs will become living space. That way they can live here and also run the place pretty easily. And then most importantly, I wanted to have a classroom to teach nectar making classes, and that's where the basement comes in. So downstairs, we're gonna have a massive classroom set up with the whiteboard and like all the nectar making machines. I also put a bathroom with showers in there. You don't really technically need a shower when you're doing this, but because they stand in the grapes, it just felt like maybe they should have one. Maybe a shower would be a nice touch. So I put some pretty big public bathrooms down there, and then I kind of got thinking about how it might be nice to have like a paint and sip sort of vibe. You see that kind of thing fairly often in real life where places like this might teach some art classes or something. So I also put a classroom with easels in it so you could take painting classes here. And then of course we wanted to have a nectar storage room because you have to age the nectar bottles to make good money off of it. So we've got a big room full of those nectar racks as well. As far as the exterior goes, it's pretty symmetrical. We've kind of got that U-shaped building with these like matching balconies in the front. We've got all of the grapes in the front. And that's why I kind of tried to explain what was gonna go where, just to help you get a better idea of the plan, because we won't furnish it until later on. We have a lot of exterior stuff to figure out first. Also, with the rows of grapes, I went back and forth a lot on whether or not I wanted them to be vertical or like horizontally laid out. And I decided on horizontal because these are debug grapes. They're not actually grapes. Your Sims can't like harvest these, they can't click on them. They can even walk straight through them because the game doesn't see it as being an actual object. When I say they are purely decorative, I mean it. And because of that, they're like really skinny. So if you put it horizontal, it almost looks like a piece of paper or something. There's no texture to it. So it didn't really land when I was doing them that direction. I did also want to include some actual crops here because of course your Sims are gonna need to like harvest grapes to be able to make the nectar with, but that wasn't a big priority for me with this lot. I wanted the decorative stuff to be the bigger deal, and I kind of like tucked away some little planter boxes just around. So there are a lot of grapes planted here, but they're usually just like randomly on the side of the building or like next to the bench. So there's a lot of them and you just kind of have to dig around to find them. That makes it sound bad. It's not bad. It's actually kind of cute, but you know, there's not like big rows of the actual physical grape plants or anything. And speaking of the rows of grapes, you'll see it took me so long to figure out how I wanted to do this. It was quite the process to get them all laid out properly because I kind of wanted to stagger them and then I wasn't sure like how far apart they should all be. So I spent way too long doing this. I also tried to rotate a few of them backwards so it wouldn't look so samey, because obviously it's just the one object just repeated a million times and I don't want it to look like that, because in real life, these bushes would not all be the exact same. So I tried my best to make it look like it had a little bit of variance to it, but obviously it's The Sims 4, so you know. You win some, you lose some. You can't have it all. Before I get too far into this though, I want to take a second just because I have a really big announcement to share with you all. So as many of you probably know, every year for the entire month of May, our community does a really big fundraiser for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. And of course, the fundraiser is coming up again. May 1st is in just a few days. And when we do these fundraisers, I stream literally every day over on Twitch, oftentimes more than once a day. Basically, I'm just trying to be live as much as possible and do like as many big, fun, special, exciting events over on Twitch as possible to try and encourage as many people as I can to come hang out and to maybe donate. So I have a lot of really exciting streams planned for like the entire month of May. I'm gonna link my Twitch stream and also our fundraiser link down below in case you want to check it out. There is absolutely no obligation to donate, like not any at all. Please don't feel bad if you can't donate, but if you do feel inclined, I'm gonna link that for you. And you're probably gonna hear me talk about this a lot for the next month or so because it is going to fully consume my life. Basically, in May, I don't do anything except this fundraiser. And I'm not kidding when I say that because I still try to post every day on YouTube. I'm streaming more than once a day. Then when I get off stream, I'm working on the rewards from the fundraiser. I send out these thank you cards with stickers to people who donate a lot of money. There's like a way to redeem that on the Tiltify link too if you wanted to check that out. But last year I sent out over 1,000 of them. So I'd be like working all day, get off stream at 8 p.m., work on the cards for like 3 hours, go to bed at 11, wake up the next day, do it again. So it's gonna be an interesting month. I'm probably gonna be really annoying because it's like all I'm gonna think about or talk about, but it will be well worth it because last year we raised over $600,000 for the kids of St. Jude. I do not anticipate being able to achieve something like that again because that was like unbelievable. But I think no matter what, we're gonna raise a lot of money and we're gonna do a lot of good together. I don't wanna like get emotional and cry in this YouTube video, but this is something that means a lot to me. It sort of started because my dad was diagnosed with cancer when I was in high school. And obviously I've watched like my family deal with that and him deal with that for a long time at this point. And I know a lot of us watching have had people in our families, friends, loved ones battle cancer. So it's something that hits close to home for a lot of people here. And I just cannot imagine what these kids are going through. To see a child have to suffer in that way and to go through this is just an unimaginable pain. And St. Jude has been doing a lot of work for a long time working towards a cure. I've actually had the opportunity to visit the hospital a couple of times now, and it really is just an amazing place with amazing people working there. And that's why we do this. We are gonna do everything we can to fundraise this month for those kids. I've been like deep in the planning phases for a couple of months now, but like especially deep in it right now with it being so close. I've got giveaway codes for Sims packs for literally every day for the entire month. I'm planning on doing a stream again where I leave my Sims game unpaused and just running on its own for 24 hours straight. I've done that a couple times now and it is so chaotic. I mean, you can imagine what would happen if you just let your game run literally all day and overnight. The woohoos, the fights, like the babies born, the number of Sims that usually die, it is ridiculous. And that's just a couple of the fun things that we have planned for this month. So again, I'm gonna link my Twitch channel down below. You might wanna go follow me there now, and hopefully I will see you over there on Thursday on May 1st. Actually, there are new kits coming out this week on Thursday. I know, always new kits coming out for this game, but they announced these back in February when they dropped that big roadmap. There are 3 of them coming out on Thursday. I forget the exact names of them, but there was one that was like a mechanic handiness thing. There was one called like Golden Years or something that I assumed was gonna be maybe like an Elder Cast kit. And there was also a kitchen clutter kit, which I'm really excited about. And those come out on May 1st, so the first day of the fundraiser. I am a little bit stressed about trying to make a video about them and then immediately go live for like the biggest day of the year, but it's gonna be fine. And let's consider it a good thing because on a Sims pack release day, there are just more eyes on the channel, which is good for a charity thing, but it should be an interesting day. Anyway, I'll stop talking about that because we have a lot of build stuff to cover at this point because we've been here for a while and I haven't said anything. So right now we're starting to lay out the downstairs where we're gonna start putting the furniture for this classroom area. You just watched me trying to cheat my Sims skills because in order to host one of these classes, they need to have level 5 of the skill. And I wanted to see how many of the nectar making machines we needed to have. You need 3 to teach one of the classes, but I kind of want wanted to have more of them because I was really trying to channel my inner Sims 3 World Adventures with this. And so I wanted it to feel like that when you go to like the World Adventures world and you start trying to learn nectar making over there. So I've got 6 of those nectar making machines. And unfortunately, we also have taken up like literally all of the space. I can't make this room any wider because it goes up to the edge of the lot. So I wanted to try and put some decor on the sides of the walls, but it did not fit. We could not make it work. It kind of comes together. It just took me a little bit of play testing to make sure I could have all of this and also have it look cute. So one of the business activities that I set when I built this lot was just to have Sims use these nectar machines. I really like how lively it feels seeing everybody come downstairs and like using everything. I think that's part of why I like businesses and hobbies so much. Every single time I've run a business, I've been like thrilled by how it's working, and I've just had so much fun playing with all this stuff and like making up ideas and then having them actually kind of work how I intend them to. I am also obsessed with the classes thing. I feel like the classes thing is something that I've wanted for so long in this game, and I didn't even really realize that I wanted it this bad until I had it. It's really fun to be able to teach them, but more so it's fun to get to attend these things. Like even if you don't run this business with your sim, just having this as a place to bring your Sims to come hang out. This is like a Friday evening activity to come and make some nectar, buy some nectar, just like get a drink and sit outside. This is cute. It's such a like fun, realistic thing for your Sims to come visit. In the past, I've also built fake vineyards that are wedding venues. I did that a lot when Horse Ranch first came out, but it just kind of makes me think that I could build something like this again, or maybe on a bigger lot, and then we could put wedding stuff back there as well. God, I still have a spreadsheet full of ideas of businesses that I want to make with this pack. I feel like I haven't even scratched the surface, and that's gotta be a sign of a good pack, right? Like the fact that I still to this day feel this inspired by it. I mean, it hasn't been out for that long, but I've been playing with it a lot, and I'm just still so excited about this one. But anyway, speaking of Sims packs, I just mentioned the World Adventures pack for The Sims 3 and how that was kind of a big inspiration for this build. I'm curious to know how many of you have played that one. I assume that a lot of you have, but I also know that a lot of you came in from The Sims 4, and World Adventures was a long time ago. It was the first expansion pack for The Sims 3, so it was like 2009. You can picture World Adventures as being kind of like Jungle Adventure, but instead of just going to Selva Dorada, they had 3 places you could visit, and they were literally based off of real life Egypt, real life China, and real life France. And all 3 of these locations you could visit had tombs you could explore. There were like artifacts you could collect, very similar to Jungle Adventure, but also each of the places you could visit had like different skills that you could learn, and there was like these cool bikes that you could buy. You could learn music and stuff while you were there. And if you went to France, you could learn nectar making. And there was just something about this pack that I was in awe of. It's funny because it's one of the oldest Sims packs, but I don't know, there was something special about this one. We also don't really have anything like it, and there was something kind of charming about it as well. I like Jungle Adventure in The Sims 4, and it is similar, but I don't think Jungle Adventure is as charming as World Adventures was. I've actually made a video or 2 playing with World Adventures. I might try and link that down below for you in case you want to go back and see it if you've never seen it before. This is making me want to play The Sims 3 though. Just looking at this build is like taking me back. But at this point, we've kind of figured out the floor plan of the downstairs. I finished decorating all the rooms down there for the most part. We got that like wine cellar place finished up, and now we're going back upstairs and we're gonna work on the shop section. So this is where we're gonna try and actually sell the nectar. I gotta say, I was finding myself very annoyed at the selling of the nectar because for some reason these nectar bottles slotted in the worst possible way to all of the shelves. I tried a bunch. I was trying ones from Get to Work. I was looking at the ones from Businesses and Hobbies. I like the Businesses and Hobbies ones because they're kind of plain and just wooden, but they're also kind of modern looking, and these are the ones with the worst slotting. Some of those shelves you can only slot 1 nectar bottle to. The nectar bottle is like this big and the shelf is huge, and for some reason you can only put 1 bottle on it. It made no sense to me. But this is not really a new problem. Slotting in The Sims 4 is like a never-ending constant issue, so I shouldn't really be acting surprised by this. And it is really tight in here as well, so I apologize for that because it's kind of a weird little space. I also put in a fake checkout counter. That's one of the other weirdest parts of this room, because with this pack you don't really need a checkout counter. If you're making a retail store with Get to Work, you do need to have a checkout counter. But with Businesses and Hobbies, they just walk up to the shelf and they can buy it from there. I just felt like having the checkout counter made it look more like a store, because I was trying to tell this story that this is like where you would come in, You could check in for your class in here. You could buy something in here. It's almost like a gift shop, sorta. And then if you wanted to just go to the bar, you could go to the other entrance and just go into the bar part. I feel like in real life, they would charge you entrance, and that's why it's kind of got that like two sides thing going on. There's two separate front doors. I actually don't love the retail part of Businesses and Hobbies. I feel like that's kind of my least favorite aspect of the pack. It also works the worst out of the whole pack. This isn't really a pack about selling stuff. Like, you're not really supposed to be making stores with it. Obviously you can, and it is one of the business activities, like Sims will come and buy things from you, but it's more about selling services. So this is more like selling the chance to come take a class, or like selling them the nectar from the bar. They're going to be kind of annoying about buying the nectar bottles off of your shelves, at least in my experience. And my cat is here now. This is Snap. She decided to come take a look at the business. Okay, actually, speaking of buying things, sorry to get off topic again, but last night I managed to pre-order a Switch 2. I'm recording this on the 24th, so the pre-orders opened at midnight last night for me, and I knew it was going to be a disaster. These things are always a disaster, but for some reason people kept talking about it like, oh, it's gonna be fine, they've got plenty of stock. I knew they weren't gonna have plenty of stock. I did manage to place an order and then got an email 5 minutes later that my order was canceled. It was like canceled due to technical difficulties. I was devastated by this. I was like, I stayed up until almost 1 in the morning to manage to get this Switch 2, and you cancel my order after I buy it. But luckily Dan managed to get one on his account, so we do have a Switch 2 officially pre-ordered and coming. I'm curious to know if any of you even bothered with the pre-order. Like, I'm not trying to sit here and influence you to buy one. It's not even out yet. So like, there's no reason for you to feel stressed and like you need to go get one. It's a FOMO thing. That's how they get us. But I play a lot of Switch games, and I also am a Twitch streamer. Like, I stream from my Switch. So I feel like I sort of have, stop biting my headphone cord. I feel like I have a reason to be getting one, right? That's kind of the main reason why I was so stressed and trying to pre-order it. If I were you, I would not feel bad about waiting. There's no reason. The games coming out at launch aren't even that enticing, so it's fine. Obviously, you know you and your intentions and like what you want better than I know you, but I'm just trying to clarify. I'm not trying to influence you to buy a Switch 2. I just want to know how many of you did get one or tried to get one. Did you not get one on purpose? Like, what's the situation with the Switch 2 here? How are we feeling about it? Anyway, sorry, back to the build. Right now we're starting to furnish the bar part. So you can see I put in things like the dartboard. I've got some little tables around the sides, and then I put a dance floor right in the middle. So the layout that I kind of settled on was to have the tables around the outskirts of the room and then have that horse ranch dance floor in the center. I never used that horse ranch dance floor, so I was kind of excited for a chance to use it. I really also don't like how the dartboard looks. I love the idea of the dartboard, but the line on the ground where your sim stands kind of bothers me. I built this over on my Twitch channel first, and the chat kept being like, what's that weird line? Like, what's the glitch in the floor? What's the line? And I had to keep saying, I'm so sorry, it's just the dartboard. Like, they all just come with that. It's not that annoying, but I guess because people get confused by it, I'm like, ugh, it's bad. If it was less confusing to the general viewer of the video, I wouldn't hate it as much. I guess it is nice because it's a clear marker for where they have to stand, and then like you won't put furniture in its way, but also then you have a random black line on your floor. So you can't win. Now, I did put ticket kiosks in here, and I guess this was a choice that I wasn't super sure about, because I think that realistically, I probably wouldn't want to be charged entrance to come to a business like this. Like, in real life, they would make their money by selling us stuff. The only entrance fee you would pay would be like entrance to the class. You wouldn't pay entrance just to come here to the business. But this is The Sims, and we've got money to earn, and they will pay an entrance fee and also buy stuff from you. So I felt like if we're gonna make a functional, nice vineyard in The Sims, we'll just charge them extra. What's the harm there? So I put like a little ticket kiosk by the front door and then like a little sign on the floor next to it. Not super necessary, but definitely helpful if you are the owner of this place. So I kept it there. But honestly, for the most part, that's like the interior that is public done. So we're gonna move outside for a second and look around for some different signs. There are a lot of really nice signs that we can use. A few that are like nectar focused from Horse Ranch. I'm putting some plants around and like some benches and some decor in that way. You can see I've got a couple little plants outside too. Like I was telling you earlier about those little random grape plants that I put in a few places. We have those outside. I'm fixing the grapevines again because they got messed up when I moved the basement. And I also realized realized that when I flipped them around, they were like not lined up properly. So I checked that and repaired it. Most of this build is from Horse Ranch, though I do have a few other packs that I have used in here. You're gonna see mostly Horse Ranch and Businesses and Hobbies in this one. Also, quite a bit of Laundry Day got used here. And I think I used the Artist Studio kit downstairs for the paint and sip section, but I'm not entirely sure. I also have like a couple Dine Out decorations because Dine Out has like a wine glass wall art piece, toddler stuff for the lights, Get to Work for some signage, Love Struck for a random beam. I mean, the pack content adds up pretty quick, but it's not my worst work. I've definitely done builds that have like a million packs in them, and this is not one of those. This is like a not horrifying number of packs, but still a lot of packs. Also, almost all of the landscaping is from Horse Ranch as well. I used pretty much exclusively Horse Ranch debug plants out here because I wanted it to blend in with the environment as well as I could. I also just really like the Horse Ranch debug landscaping. It's one of my favorite packs to landscape with. It's just got a lot of really good stuff, especially how we have that low-lying bush with no flowers and then more versions that have different colored flowers. Being able to layer that in places like this is so good. I wish that we had more of those. Like if the base game had a version of that bush, because it's kind of similar to the base game one I always use with the little white flowers. If we had a base game version that was just plain greenery, like filler greenery, I would lose my mind. That is all I'm asking them for. I need some more nice plain bushes in this game. But anyway, we're back inside now because we're gonna put the finishing touches on the build by decorating the apartment upstairs. The apartment is not huge. It's 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom up here, but they've got a really cool like double-story staircase coming up from the bar area. They've got a cute kitchen in the back. We also put like a dining table. They have a small living room. I think I put a piano up here as well. And I am pretty certain that almost every single thing I used in this entire room is from Horse Ranch. I was thriving putting Horse Ranch furniture in here. I just love this pack. I always say this, but like, I never expected to like Horse Ranch as much as I do. For years before this pack came out, I was like, they're never gonna make a horse pack. I don't even want a horse pack. I don't care about horses. And then we finally got the horse pack, and all I want to do is build like these ranchy, cottagey style builds like this. I made a horse let's play with my off the grid challenge. It's like everything is infected by horses now on my YouTube channel, all because of the Horse Ranch pack that I never expected to have and didn't think I even wanted. It's really fun to get pleasantly surprised by that with Sim stuff, because I don't know, I feel like I have a pretty good idea of what I like in The Sims 4 and like what I care about in The Sims 4. And this whole time, I really did not think I cared about horses, and I could not have been more wrong. But you can see in this kitchen, it's kind of a weird shape, and I really liked that about it. I also put like the hot chocolate thing in there. We've got the living room with a big TV and a fireplace. I ended up trying to fit a few skill building things up here, like the woodworking table and the piano. I went back and forth a lot on what should stay because I wanted to fit the woodworking table, and it just like, I don't know, the colors aren't good on that. I always try to use it and I never am able to do it successfully. So I replaced that with a bar, and we already have a bar on this lot, but I also think that these Sims probably would have a bar in their home as well. I mean, they run a whole vineyard, so it makes sense for them. So I put that bar in the nook where the chimney is supposed to go. We also have a chess table outside that I am realizing is from Outdoor Retreat, so that's another pack that I have used. Wow, the list just goes on and on. I really did set out to make a limited pack build when I started this. I swear, like that was my intention in the beginning. It just doesn't always work out like that. Anyway, I did manage to put the woodworking table on one of those little balconies, and then we have those 2 bedrooms on the side. The one that is closest to the front is gonna become the primary bedroom. I did manage to get one of those woodworking tables on the balcony. It's less shocking, the color of it, when it's outside. It just looks weird and kind of like old when you put it inside, at least in this house, because it's a different wood tone than all the rest of them. I'm also doing the bathroom real quick, and I used a lot of the wood stuff from Horse Ranch. It's kind of cheap, this Horse Ranch stuff, and your Sims don't love to use it. They find it kind of gross sometimes because it's like poor quality, but I just think it looks so nice. So I've got all of that in there. There's a 3rd balcony upstairs in this apartment. They have 2 in the front and 1 in the back. And in the back one, they've got a games table and also a telescope. I put 2 chimneys, like actual chimneys, inside of the decorative ones. I like doing that because I think that it finishes off my fake chimney pretty well, but also when the fireplace is lit, actual smoke animates and comes out of them, so I wanted to have that there. I did add in some stuff for a cat, so I tried to sneak in a litter box and a cat tree. And then last, we have these 2 bedrooms on the side of the house. The one closer to the front is going to be the primary bedroom, and then I made a smaller one for kids, and I kind of just made it like a 2-kid bedroom space, but you'll see once we get into that area. I thought that I was closer to showing you it than I actually am, apparently. It took me longer than I thought to build this, to be honest. I am like constantly going back and changing things and adding things, but now we are finally inside of that primary bedroom. Of course, a lot of horse ranch in this room, including my favorite bed in the entire game. I do love that this pack came with some cheap beds, but I also kind of hate that they're so cheap because your Sims feel uncomfortable sleeping in them because it's like, you know, energy 4, discomfort 1 or something are the stats of it. Plus it's like 400 simoleons, but it is nice to have some really cute, really cheap beds, especially when you're like me and you like to do starter homes so much. I do have a computer inside of that bedroom as well, and then this last room, this kids room, just has the 2 double beds and like some toys and stuff in it. But with that, we are pretty much done with the speed build. I have yapped a lot, I know. It's probably been kind of hard to follow. So what I want to do now is go back into the game and give you a real-time tour of the finished product so that you can see it. And I'll also show you how to set up the business in case you want to play here yourself. Just as a reminder, we built this on the Grapevine Terrace lot in Chestnut Ridge. And on the gallery, you're going to be looking for the Horseshoe Vineyard lot. My God, this has so many more packs than I thought it did. Oh no, it's also almost 150,000 simoleons. But you can just place this one down, and I'm gonna show you how to set it up in case you want your Sims to come here and visit this lot. If you want to own it, it's kind of the same thing, but if you want to just place this and have it as like a community lot for you to come to, here's how you do it. You place it down right there, and you're gonna go make a random Sim. If you want to try harder and like, whoa, that is fun makeup with the mohawk. If you want to try harder and like make a story for it, you can do that too. But assuming you want to do it as quick as possible just to have a place to go and visit, make some random Sim. Then you can do the free real estate space on cheat. That means that you can buy any lot without having to use any money cheats. It's kind of like an ultimate money cheat. And we can move that Sim onto the new vineyard lot. Then you can have them register their small business. I would just call it Horseshoe Vineyard. There's even a vineyard looking icon with the nectar bottle. For activities, I would have them attend classes and lectures. I would have them drink bar drinks and also drink ranch nectar. And then I would have them make ranch nectar, so they'll use those nectar makers. And last, I would have them paint. You could always increase your prices because it's going to be kind of expensive, but if you intend to visit this lot, I wouldn't mess with it. And that's all you need to do. Now you can come here with a random Sim and they can use all the amenities. It's kind of annoying because you can't upload the business to the gallery because the business is owned by the Sim. It's not tied to the lot. And weirdly, it doesn't quite save my settings for the lot either, but you can just make sure the apartment is set as residential and then you'll be fine. And here is what the finished product looks like from the outside. So when your Sims come up, they'll walk in through this pretty archway. I've got a little nectar sign on the front. I've got a bunch of plants down for grapes. There's basil, there's strawberries. That's all stuff that you can make nectar with. We even have potatoes. Basically any plant you might need, I have at least 1 or 2 of them placed down. You could also take photos in front of these bushes if you wanted to, but really this is not necessary. These are just decorative. I kind of hid the mailbox over in this corner just so it's out of the way. And say you wanted to come here and get a bar drink. You could come this way and go into the left side. You could check in at the ticket kiosk. You could sit at the bar and buy a drink. You could dance with the jukebox. You could sit here at these tables. There's games tables in the back if you wanted to use those. And maybe you decide, you know what, this place is so nice. The nectar is so good. I want to buy my sister a gift. So you could come in and you could buy a bottle of nectar off of one of the shelves. It comes pre-stocked with 1. I didn't put that many, just the 1. But if you played here, you could put more. You can also come into the basement from this side where the store is. And in the basement, there's like some little places to sit. This is kind of like a hallway right here. I put some decorative nectar bottles in. There's a big bathroom with a shower and some toilets down here. There's also a small public bathroom on the main level, but the fancier one is in the basement. and you can go through this hallway to take your nectar classes in this room. It has the whiteboard, it has like a sink, it's got a bunch of the machines in here, plus a couple of different grape bushes, and these are inside, so they're sheltered and they'll grow in all seasons. You can also come this way into what is kind of like another tasting room. This room's kind of like filler, I guess. Through these doors, they have the storage room. You could even consider setting this as being employees only so that your Sims don't come in here and use your nectar machine, but you can store the bottles in these and they'll actually age. That's a whole gameplay feature from the pack, and they get to be more expensive the longer they're aged. And they also age faster in a basement, hence why it's down here. And we also have a little hallway again, and then that paint and sip class, which does not use the artist studio kit. It does have a supply closet, so you can woohoo in there though. And there's like this little door. This is that outdoor courtyard area, so there's a couple more plants and just like some benches. I think that's a really cool part of the build with the fancy lights hanging above it and like the ability to have windows going into these rooms. It makes a big difference. For other public spaces, you can also come all the way around the back, and I have a couple more trees. These are apple, lemon, and cherry trees. You also might need those to make nectar, so I just tried to have as many plants as possible. The rest of it is kind of just landscaping. And then through this little door, this is how you can get upstairs into the apartment. So they've got like their own private bar, they have their living room, piano with some cute decor around it. There's like a front balcony up here. Down this side, we have the dining room and the kitchen looking kind of like this. There's a bathroom for them that's private. And then we also have that little kids room with some cutesy clutter stuff, and the primary bedroom up here with like a desk, a chess table, all that sort of thing. And overall, I think it's a pretty nice build. I also forgot to tell you, if you're gonna do this, you might want to hire an employee. You might want to have somebody tend the bar and then maybe have a second person teach classes or something, just so that way it works when you come here as a visitor. And of course, same thing, if you're gonna run it, it would be nice to have them have assigned tasks. But I think that just about covers everything in this build. So hopefully you enjoyed this one. I know I have been really yapping today. I'm sorry, I just go on in these speed builds. So I'm gonna wrap it up right here. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'm gonna catch you all tomorrow. Okay, bye everybody. Speaking of horse ranch businesses, I actually built a petting zoo style thing a couple weeks ago, so I'll link that here on the end card for you in case you want to go check it out.